Sharing to live stream.
Yeah.
And we are live on YouTube. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Happy solstice.
Solstice, everyone.
Happy solstice.
We are coming to you live from the summer solstice this evening, and we are really grateful to have you all here. So I'm just going to give it a minute while people jump on and find us.
Just want to say well done to the X-Fam if you've been embracing the 7x7x7 challenge. We did a community 7 days raw food, 7 days fruit only, and then a 7 days juice fast leading up to the solstice to give the purity and system cleanse to allow us to be able to bring on energies that exist external and internal, creating a wonderful alignment so we can evolve ourselves consciously and move forward in our journeys with simplicity and ease in a natural way as we become supernatural.
Amazing.
So yeah, well done, X-Family, for your powers.
Beautiful. We've been seeing some lovely, vibrant pictures of everyone's food and drinks, and now I think quite a few of them have joined us on the water fast.
Amazing.
So yeah, we're going to do a 72-hour water fast, and
and the 72-hour water
cleansing.
fast just gives you a immune system reset, so it can help further cleanse yourself and then align you with a new functioning immune system to rid yourself of allergies and chronic illnesses that persist.
Fantastic. And how many have you got doing that this time?
Is it about 200?
No, I think there's 140 on the actual Telegram group, but I think a few people join in without coming on the Telegram. So on Patreon we've got quite a few others that are joining in as well. But on the Telegram, where we get to see all of their lovely photos and find out what they've been creating, it's really lovely to see, isn't it?
140 active people who are actually doing this on a day-to-day basis.
Beautiful.
And it's a lovely transition, I think, as well, from going from the raw food, like from if they are uncooked, going to the raw food to the fruits and the smoothies, and then on to the juices, because it's a nice kind of smooth transition, and candida die-off isn't as harsh, so it's really good for that transitional period.
I've been enjoying my candida die-off.
Yeah, we saw the pictures.
I actually quite enjoy it because it means I feel like I'm getting progress. So as much as it's a bit weird, I'm like, yes.
Pain is always the weakness leaving our body, whether it's physical, mental, or emotion, and we just purge these things and grow. So well done, sister, for your candida die.
Well, feeling so much better. Honestly, the brain fog I had before, I didn't actually realize it until now when I don't have it.
Yeah,
like it's funny, isn't it? Like when you've got it, you don't even realize it, and until you haven't got it, and you're like, wow, how did I cope with that?
Yeah, definitely different stages of conscious eating and evolution. You see, previous mankind did not have the distraction of food as it is today. It would have just been grains, seeds, and nuts and such things like that. But Jesus could not walk down to the shop and get a McDonald's. But many of us can, and it's up to us to make sure we make the right choices to evolve ourselves, and in our natural state is where we should be, and we do blossom naturally like a flower in time with our progression through the virtues.
Fantastic. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody who's there. Can I just do a little sound check? Could you let me know, guys? Hi Gav, hi Richard, hello Emily, hello Papa, hello Claire, hello Delfries, hello Tina, hello from Pennsylvania. Wow, nice to have you with us this evening. If you could do me a favor, let me know you can hear us okay. And then the other thing I would be really grateful for, hello Fly on the Wall, good to have you here. I'd be really grateful if you guys could share this link for me. Louise, hello. Yeah, if you could just share this link for me in a few groups or whoever you know, I'd really, really appreciate it, because it'd be great if we can get the numbers up. And obviously tonight we are talking about chastity. And or chastity, as we were saying before we came on. And this is our, well, it's not our final virtue. We've got one more virtue to go, which will be in 2 weeks' time. But we are coming to the end of this beautiful series. So just want to remind everyone, you obviously can come on this journey with us. We have the Virtuous X Life program, and that is available at the reduced price until the 19th of July. So if you do want to join us, it would be great for you guys to join us before the price goes up. And thank you, Tina. You can hear me. Brilliant. Excellent sound is great. Fantastic. Okay, I really appreciate that. So without further ado, would you both be so kind as to explain how you perceive and understand or understand chastity?
You start, and
So chastity is synonymous with abstinence. And the true journey is inside the minds of each man. And as we build our Temple of Solomon, we must become free from thought. And we abstain from the things within the material world or our physical world, which creates a separation from the possessive nature of our mind. You see, once the mind has caught us something it enjoys, it wishes to repeat it until it's fully integrated with it. So it can give you an example of what the forthcoming program is and relate it back to taking you away from presence. So chastity is to understand that you must have a separation between material things, such as food, such as clothing and cars, and to be able to have a moderate use and application of these things to not create an overwhelming, overpowering demon inside of the mind that persists to control you. And in controlling it, you find freedom from the thoughts and the pain and suffering that comes with it. So chastity is a very important virtue that allows you a big space of freedom from material things and desires.
As well, I think with chastity, it's like a pure state, and it's like incorruptible. And I think with the temptations of the matrix and all of its media and the control system that they've put in place for especially the young ones as well, you know, that the images that they're given through the media and through the music industry and stuff like that, it's highly driven through, you know, like it's based on like a sexual, it's like driven for their young minds as well, like they're easily corruptible at that sort of age as well, and they're learning it from quite a young age. And then if you put in the mix as well, the alcohol and the drug abuse and stuff like that, it creates like a cocktail of a downward
Sugar,
spiral
cakes.
and of you know, all of these illusions, and it can wreak havoc on some of the younger minds. And this is where we're here to try and help to increase the vibrations and, you know, teach especially the young ones how to control those desires. And, you know, the opposing sin of lust is, you know, is everyone's lusting for something in the matrix. It's like Josh was mentioning about clothing, material possessions, money.
Materialism.
Yeah, it's always gaining something, and this is what we need to move away from, is taking that balanced path and really focusing on, you know, the path that we are destined to take, rather than this matrix material side that it's dragging us towards. So the balance is the key again.
It's always about the reward with the ego.
Well, and I think, you know, Michelle makes a fantastic point about how the kids are corrupted from such a young age, you know, and of course we're not taught to have self-worth or have this sense of inner spirituality, which means that a lot of people's self-worth comes from external sources. So materialism, like you were saying, you know, people believe that that's how we all have to be successful in life. And of course it's warped, it's totally warped. And, you know, most people go through that period, don't, where they kind of have, it doesn't make them happy. You know, this stuff doesn't make you happy.
Yeah, I think a lot of it as well is down to like who's in control of the avatar, and the self-mastery is a really big key. Is when we were saying master of the temples the other day, and if you're not in control of your being, then who is? And is it someone pulling the puppet strings from above? Like you see some of the pictures that have been around, it's who's actually in control of the avatar. If it's not you, who's controlling you, and why are you easily controlled? And I think the temptations of the supermarkets when you go in, if you're kind of addicted to that sugar or the nicotine or anything like that, is a real difficult one when you've got an addiction to conquer, as well as the mass media images through them as well. So mastering those temples are a really big key towards the evolution as well.
Add addiction. That's all it's doing, is adding addiction to your mental state. So as you continually progress through life, you're continually getting a voice that's trying to create havoc within you. But this is the separation and the purpose of the ego. So if one's looking to evolve beyond the limitations of the ego and the identity, the chastity is a key element to gaining mastery over the self or over the temple. And it has to be from all things. Things themselves are THING, a physical vibration in G, which is the seven, the realm of this purgatory existence within our matrix. When Misha was saying, if you're not in control of yourself, who is? If you can imagine that the ego itself is a frequency that is a attuned dimension within our electromagnetic field, and the collective consciousness, you could say, or the collective unconsciousness manifests from this, and thoughts are just forms that are within this etherical frequency that pass and try to grab hold of our system through the energy form. And it's only when we give them attention, they feed, they manifest. So you either feed your ego or you feed your spirit, and these are the choices that we must make every single day. We must make these choices, and the right choice will always lead to the righteous becoming right once again.
So am I correct in thinking like chastity then is a kind of combination of purity and balance? Because it's you're kind of saying is we have to be measured in every interaction, whether it be food, attachment to clothing, stuff, food, alcohol,
everything. See,
everything. Okay.
See, every single moment one must measure, me assure, and or you could say a state of meditation. We are constantly putting ourselves in correction to the righteous in every single moment. The journey that we have, it seems, without the understanding of spirituality, just like a piece of luck. We landed here, we're here to have an experience, and we live and you die, and that might be it forever. But if one truly takes and embarks the journey of the master builder, the Freemason, the philosopher, the alchemy of what's needed to do, is the true inner workings. Every single moment that you are aware and observing yourself, you have a chance to bring correction and a higher vibration. Removal of thoughts, removal of the identity, the ego, and a higher vibration. And every time you elevate, you balance the L's within your reciprocation, within your energy centers. You acquire new senses, you acquire supernatural abilities, the clairvoyance, the clairaudience, and these things are a natural part of your evolution. But see, you must walk the walk. You cannot go through life being controlled by external energies. You must gain control of yourself. Chastity is the key in gaining control of yourself in all forms.
The passion, there's a lot of passion and desires out there, and the desire of having something right here, right now is very rife within every situation that, we hear of a lot of beings wanting it now, right here, right now.
Well, we've been trained that way, haven't we? Like, it's almost like this instant gratification that people expect.
Yeah, and I think the small steps that we are guiding them through on this virtuous X life is, those small steps that we can take towards that self-mastery is very important to we said last session as well that we were try not to take off those big chunks and try and take those small steps towards that self-mastery instead of the big steps, because that's when you fall back big as well. So those desires and those temptations from the other side that are pulling, we need to really chip away at those small things first, and then becomes like a snowball effect, and you find yourself looking back and thinking, wow, actually, like you said about the brain fog, Eloise, that you don't realize it until you look back at 6 months ago and you thought, you know, you were okay, and it actually, you know, you've come a really long way in a short space of time when you look at it, the big picture.
And I think that's a really good point, Michelle, because I think, you know, for people listening, what we want to be doing is incremental improvement, basically, isn't it? Like you learn something, like I think we've said this before in previous shows, you know, learn it, really integrate it, really embed it, and then move on to the next thing. And don't be harsh with yourself, because obviously the Jacob's ladder is a long ladder. But what starts to happen as we integrate what we learn, like I'm noticing where I used to kind of have this push-pull with food, for example, you know, I'd want to eat certain things because I had this like FOMO of missing out. Now it's like, well, I don't even want to put that in my body.
Yeah.
And it's so, because obviously I've noticed this has been my journey, whether it been drugs, alcohol, you know, lots of things I've incrementally shifted out of. And that's what you do. You just kind of, your consciousness shifts around it, and there isn't any push-pull, because you just let it go, and you just
but you're balanced. That's when you're at balance and when you're at ease and your energy is flowing, because you feel that. And when you feel that with every aspect of life, then it becomes that light, and that's perfection, that's purity, and that is all of the virtues wrapped up in one. Eloise, is right there. As soon as you feel that about every situation in your world, in your life, that's when you
fully
become
conscious
one.
of all things, and you merge with the wonderful nature that is this consciousness.
So you're saying that you can feel the slightest, almost if you're out of integrity in some shape or form, like, and I have to be honest, I'm starting to get that way as well. It's like tiny little things. If I don't feel like I'm totally in resonance with it, I feel it. I feel it really much more than I used to.
What do you think your body thoughts and emotions are for?
Well, I suppose that's exactly what it is. It's like your own guiding system, isn't it? It really
is your sixth sense, and your aura will show it.
And even your ego itself reveals where you are missing in application to return back to your pure state.
Wow.
It's this whole system.
But we're so shut down, aren't we? Everybody's so drugged up, or sorry, I'm just like getting this. It's like
that's the desensitization, but it's exactly where they need to be. They have to go through that experience to be able to move forward consciously. Remember, the earthly realm is for the quickest expansive conscious evolution
the duality
that you can do. This is the realm of this. This is for cosmic consciousness expansion here. And it's a big thing to be birthed or be earthed into this existence here, because it's a challenge, and it's the hardest challenge that one can do, but the evolution that comes with it is profound.
So literally,
you either know, Louise, or you don't. You know, this is, you either know or you don't. And this is where I just wrote this down because I was going to explain it when you were talking about it. If you don't know something, there's not a need to know unless you've become aware of something within this field that exists. But if you know and you don't apply the knowledge, what happens? You form a thought or a demon. Yeah. Now this demon is demon. Mon means one, the removal of one. Okay. So step by step, you gain control of these thought demons that appeared from your lack of action, which is your karma. And then you remove them effortlessly. And then the weight of these demons allows you to make continual progress. And as it becomes lighter and lighter and lighter, you become more free, more cosmic, more in tune with your surroundings. And then I have, the veil is
lifts.
A veil able, and this veil that becomes lifted is only when you start to rise the Kundalini energy in the system. the Kundalini energy activates the right side of the brain. And this is where the connectivity happens, and your experiences from, you can have access to everything that has ever existed here and now at any given moment once you break these boundaries. Anything that's ever happened, and even though the moment now is the only thing that's ever existed, it forms an imprint within consciousness, and you can access any single thing that's ever existed, anything that's ever happened within this cosmic plane at any given time right now.
At that point, you need to stay strong. It's like about strength within, like an inner strength. And that prevails, because if you're strong with everything and you know that your guidance is there from the higher self, it's just about tuning into it and really, calm it, like making yourself still and listening for those subtle signs and those subtle images to guide you in the right direction, because you already know. We are born knowing. We lose the way by the programs that we are given and inserted with, and then the ego takes over, and then that becomes a problem. And it depends on how far you're willing to leave that system, to how far you exit at the end of the game, as it were.
If you can see that, we're going to say the Terminator, okay? It spells the term in a Tor, which is a Taurus.
Okay.
Now, the war or the rise against the machines is the ego. And you see, anyone who is acting from ego or reacting from ego or is in a state of ego, which is most of the population, you'll see that they are very automatic. They have a habit at, and there's no change. They are comfortable within the cycles of life because the automatic processing just takes over. And this is the lower energy centers for survival. But that's the true war going on within our system. And there's only one way past that or beyond that, is to become self-aware and aware of the self, and slowly take the steps up this ladder to progress into a state of being that actually exists at any given moment within inside every single one of us.
And how exciting is that for humanity when humans get to that level? Because you don't need governments, you don't need police, you don't need any form of governing, because you're self-governing.
Exactly. But then again, even in between those stages of development, we see the government for what it is and how it apparently oppresses beings. But it's a necessary form of evil as the stages of evolution, because if it was not there, the beings that are on the automatic program are actually controlled by symbols and signs. So these symbols and signs that are put out within the matrix, like stop, no parking.
It's triggers, isn't it?
Triggers the subconscious of the unconscious and controls them through this collective frequency of unconsciousness. And even though the unconscious beings are conscious, because consciousness is everything, there is a frequency that they vibrate at, and there's a collective consciousness for that. So this is the hive mind of the matrix beings. So for one to truly escape from that is definitely an activation of the Kundalini energy at the lower end of it. But the constant progression rises it to places that people who, on a scale, we could say that once you break the halfway of the styles and the possibility, you become free from the identity. And even beyond that, there are spaces for improvement until you've completely obliterated your experience here, and you are one and know all things. This is the journey. And
we see that you got to see the beauty in it all, though, because
it's amazing. Yeah.
Like we've said before, it's all here for us for a reason and a lesson, and is to elevate us from this. So everything is just how it should be, and it's just beautiful. If you can see it through those eyes, or through the real eye, then you will really see, and you really know and rise above that and look at it as a beautiful thing, rather than a thing here to hurt you or harm you or be a victim of. It's beautiful.
Well, I think that's kind of how we've been talking about it in our community, because obviously a lot of people are feeling this way about their friends and their family, because obviously they're seeing them, the separation that's happening, and obviously all of the duality that we've got with all the Maxim stuff, and and actually if you can reframe it and say actually it's just their evolutionary path, and actually it's there for a purpose and it serves a purpose, then it enables you to, I suppose, understand it better and actually realize that this is just where they're at in their Jacob's ladder.
Yeah.
Do not love the world or anything in it. It is a stage. It is a purposeful program of evolution working through the unconscious as an illusion. You see, all things are illusions, and these things are usually just a form of programming via media. Even in the ancient days, it was all to do with media and how people perceive, and it keeps them inside their houses and going to work. If people go to war, they actually consent to go into war at their level of awareness to go against people who are also consenting to go to war, which is again their element of evolution within this. And you'll see that they don't harm anyone. There may be a printing within the media and stage. If you fully integrate yourself within the conspiracy, you'll see that these things are created and staged.
Consensual.
Yeah, they're just created and staged for the mind, and no one's actually really getting hurt. Unless...
But that's not to get trapped in as well, because that's another stage of your evolution. It's like, okay, I've realized that now. So now I need to move on and not get stuck and hurt and upset and all of these emotional connections to that specific idea,
It's
because that's another trap that the beings on the spiritual path can get stuck at that level. And it's like, just don't get too far into it. Just
don't get involved, evolve. That's the key. You if you need to find your space through it, you really truly integrate yourself for a certain amount of time and evolve past it. If you find yourself getting stuck, there's no progress, and then you become just egoically identified with that, and there must be chastity from it. And you must free yourself from that, because otherwise you'll feed the ego and it will dominate by that. And we want people to find themselves with freedom. If it's not bringing happiness and joy and fulfillment and an improved vibration to your being, it shouldn't be focused on, because your intention focuses on this and it makes it a reality. Whether it's in your direct experience or not, you're going through the emotional content as if it is. So be free from other people's hearsay and untruths. And if it's not direct in your experience, it should not exist.
Absolutely. And I think also, for people listening, I feel incredibly grateful to be here and have found you, be learning this work, be integrating it, because it's actually incredible. You actually think that, of all the lifetimes we've been through, this is the one we have the chance to actually, really, really evolve, because it is consciousness trapped left, right, and center. We can people get lost for lifetimes and lifetimes. So actually, if you guys are here and you're on this, congratulations, well done. You've done really well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even being a part of these conversations, even hearing them, it means that you're ready, and all you need to do is apply this knowledge, and the application's only found in you. The Temple of Solomon is the Sol Al-Man, which is the sun is void as one. And the reason, which is what Michelle said earlier, is to REA sun. It's to rightfully establishes the one sun instead of the two suns. The two minds that exist is the consciousness and the egoic mind. And we must bring balance to become one with atonement, which is at one mind. That's the key.
And with this system, there is a real simple way of doing that, isn't there?
Absolutely. If one applies it, this wisdom, then there is no other path than to continue walking straight, and it will lead you directly to God, which is you inside of you.
It's the action of the righteousness, isn't it? You've got to choose the right path every time, and then just listen to the inner tutor, the intuition, and you'll be guided. And the collective consciousness, a lot of people can feel it now. It's really taken a big standing point, isn't it, with all of the separation that's going on. And this is where we're bringing it back together again and uniting. And like Josh was saying with the one, it's like the unity and the collective that are actually raising that bar and raising those energies, and people can feel it now.
Every time that you do a good deed, you raise the bar of the collective consciousness. Like we said last time, if you turn a beetle off his back, you help a little animal cross the road, or you help a granny with her shopping, this actually raises the collective consciousness. Are we choosing every day to feed something which is of a lower energy, which people's frequencies tune into? Or are we going to raise the frequency of the collective consciousness by our actions, not by sitting and waiting for somebody else to do the work to change the world, because the world serves great purpose and it's for evolution of energy.
And can you speak to that? Because I think that is a classic thing. People say, well, it's just me. It's little old me. What can I do to make a difference? Because I'd love to just blow that out of the water, because, you know, that's something that people can hide behind.
Yeah. We have this wonderful universal mind, which is collective consciousness on a frequency that exists beyond our spectrum of thinking, beyond all limitations of physicality. And it can only be tapped into by those that truly have the work or have done the work. But every action that we take in the righteous path elevates this vibration of collective consciousness, and the automated man will naturally become elevated in his actions by our actions. And there's proof with this, the monkey effect, where they fed monkeys on one island.
Hundreds monkey.
Yeah. And they fed them sweet potatoes, and they showed them how to wash them with the sand, wash the sand off the potatoes, and then the monkeys also did it far away without being taught after it was shown, which shows there's this layer of vibration within this electromagnetic universe that stores a vibration that feeds the collective mind. So actions, and our actions, especially with the higher conscious beings, have a massive impact.
Of course, because they're a higher vibration, aren't they? If you've got fewer people at that vibration, but obviously it's much more powerful vibration.
Yeah.
If you look at the flip side, and with the government, what they do from birth is they take you and they give you a number for everything, and they're like, they make you feel that way for a reason, because you're given a national insurance number, a registration certificate, and everything you own in that system is numbered. Your days are numbered, your life is numbered, everything there.
It's
but
conceptualized.
you cannot number energy and a frequency. And when we vibrate together, that is not a number. Like the government, they cannot control this. This is rolling out and it's going fast. And that snowball effect is happening right now. And this is where we're going to take it to that next level that they cannot touch. This frequency can't be touched with their machines.
But it's your choice to get there. The collective can't. The collective must take the actions and become fully conscious to be able to be so separate and above that level of vibration that you become untouchable.
When you said beings feel like it's little old me, it is in the system. This is how they want you to feel, because that's the opposing side, and that is the side of sin, where you feel like that, and you're made to feel like that because of the lust and the greed and the anger and the upset. But if you flip it into this virtuous side of what we're teaching and everyone's learning, is that actually, no, I don't need to feel suppressed anymore. I am part of this, and I am one with the universe and with everyone else, and we are all one.
The field, let's say, this consciousness is an instantaneous manifester of intention and vibration, and it's your mind that is the barrier and creates all limitations.
I have to say,
Go on, sister.
Just the energy when Michelle was speaking and you're speaking, just the energy rush that I got, the confirmation, just absolutely beautiful. We are collectively able to do this when we come together.
Absolutely.
Spread the love.
But again, there's many different fields of evolution going on at any particular time. And the reason for this coronavirus is to be able to allow space for the consciousness that's evolving to be able to exist physically here, separate from that type of being, where we can become free from government. So the ones that are not quite ready to remove the fear that comes along with the programs will be shifted into a space, and then they'll continue their evolution there, albeit very different. I think it would be better for everyone. We need not focus on any negatives. We don't need, to apply ourselves in that way. There will be no negatives. Everything is purposeful and for the raising and evolution of awareness. It's just how we look at life. It creates that shape or form inside of us. What is negativity but a thought? What is disappointment but an expectation created by your desire?
And getting attachment to outcomes. So when you're present, then you don't have that attachment.
What is a car crash, or a gentle bump on the car, in a protective bubble of the car that may, or you should say, that protected you from something more extreme? You just must see life, or you may never meet the being that you bumped into. Everything needs to be looked at properly.
So Michelle, I would love for us to look at your numerology, and I'd also love to see your beautiful face. So I want you to come.
Oh, sorry. When I because we're in the van, when I lean this way slightly, I'm sat on
the
a
handbrake.
on a really hard seatbelt cover.
Could be a certain vibration.
Trying to keep keep my
difficult
posture straight as well without
to find a space to live in England. It's very overrun. And there's nowhere taking three months.
And we love it in the van, but because little X is sleeping peacefully in the back, it's better if we sit in the front to do the chat.
Of course. Well, can we have a look at the numerology of Chastity?
We can.
Oh, well done.
There we go.
And how did you discover your gift, Michelle? Is this just numerology? Is just something that comes really easily to you? Or?
Yeah, I think even in school when I was younger, I thought in all my sets, because I didn't really enjoy school, as many of the spiritual people don't. I was in not very good sets for everything else. And maths, I was in top set, and I never knew why. And all my teachers used to say, "Oh, you must show how you worked it out, and you must show this." And I never knew. It was just something that I just enjoyed, and I just could see through things. So,
it really come to being together with the language.
When Josh used to practice the etymology, I just used to visualize it within the numbers sequences, and it just came to light with that, really. I
remember
guess.
I was streaming the words to you, and then you go quiet, and then she would relate it to numbers within herself, and then she'd come to me with the numbers, and it would work out.
Wow.
The system of numbers and words and letters, they synchronize, and the truth that was being revealed to me would be confirmed in such a way with the numbers that you cannot be lied to.
Mind-blowing.
But it opens up such a web of awareness.
And then, so we, as you can imagine, we've had some really in-depth chats about
your first date must have been mind-blowing.
I'd quickly just get the etymology out of the way. This is see the vibration of the alpha sine wave in your physical and consciousness tide. So what it's saying is you'll see the vibration of the alpha sine wave in the physical and consciousness tide. So you're abstaining, or you would be creating a union in the physical and spiritual by the abstinence of chastity. These two here, when I say you are it, you see the IT is consciousness and physical, and that's what you are, it.
You are
And then
it.
if you go from what Josh just said there, chastity as a whole is 105, and the 1 and the 5 is what we've spoke about on a few of the videos. I know. So I don't show Josh this before now, because we'll have all the good talks behind camera. So I always wait and spring it on him so that he can elaborate on some of it as well. But we spoke about this being the A-L and the E-L, and this is the matter and the spirit, the Taurus, that are combined to create that balance. And then if you look here in the center is where you've got the balance and the creation, the circle. And this is just a perfect number for chastity. And you know, every one of the virtues that I've gone through, each one comes up with its own piece of perfection every time I see it. And then you go towards the 1 and you've got the alone, or the all one, the AL, which is the matter, and we come into the matter when we become 1, and we are actually all alone when we come into the 1, and we are all 1 together as a collective. And then Josh has spoke about the atonement again at one mind, and this is what we want to create as we go through the individuality, the divided duality, as we come back to the unity, or the in you, which is backwards for uni.
Unity is one side.
And then if you relate that to the 5, this is the phi cycle, or the 5, as Josh talks about with the Fibonacci as well. If you look at the 5, the position of the Fibonacci spiral, the 5 is the only one that's in its position as number 5. So you've got the 1, 1, and then the 2, 3, and 5. And that's the only number that is actually in its very specific position of 5. And it's the E, which is the ether.
Which is the element, which is the
element.
God's 5th mind, which
The
is
5th element.
creation. You have the 4 and you have the ether, which ties them all together. And quickly, you see individuality is like individed duality, but divide, these D and I is form and consciousness. D is form. V is 22, which is the mastered number, which is the step above the L even. So this is the mastered consciousness. So the form and the true mastered awareness are merged here in union with a symbol and duality. So these two functions is like the A and the E within our own electromagnetic spectrum. A is 1 and E is 5. 1 is to 5 as 5 is to 1, and 1 is to phi as phi is to 1, and phi is the phi cycle in the physical of creation, which all relates back to the golden triangle. And this gold is the goal D of our form.
And these are the 3 triangles that make up
the five-pointed star, which comes back into the true cosmic creation of all the elements, bringing them together to create one master builder that is in control of every element and has true magical form in his experience, which is available to everyone.
Anytime, in the present. But remember the one that we showed you before with the balance. This is the AL and the EL, the 1 and the 5, the matter and the spirit. And we need to create this purity and this balance by climbing those steps of the virtuous life.
If we could say that these were flipped, this is the AL, this is the EL. You have a red shift. We're all male, we're all masculine. You're female, I'm a male. There is a wonderful divine cosmic energy. And that energy there, we could say, is the mother, the M other. The M is the center, the golden arches, which is used by the corporate McDonald's. But see, the center is creating this wonderful flow. And within inside of us, we must balance ourselves to allow this cosmic light to be released. We can see this in all things. You see, as these two energies get close, they release plasma. If you see this, this is called dipolarism. To learn to die is to be liberated from death. To create balance is to be liberated from death. To create balance inside yourself through the mental, the mind, the ego, spirit, mind, matter, you will actually release this light from yourself, which is physically manifested as a Kundalini energy system. And as you climb past and break the boundaries beyond there, your light will remain true and on, and it will not turn off. This is not something found through breath work. This is not something found
No, because you've done the work to maintain it, haven't you? You've opened.
This is how your light will remain on. The beacon will forever shine, forevermore.
These are the steps are through the alphabet as well, and Josh, they link to the numerology and etymology, and the A and the E are the first two. The vowels being the A and the E are the first two steps that you take in like a physical form.
Mm-hmm.
And then we become, when you get to the I, it's the third eye that opens, and then this is kind of like your spiritual or the higher paths, where they become.
This is
the
the
sixth.
void, and then this is the full union and the cup that can be. This is the Holy Grail cup.
The 3, 6, and 9.
If you see, this is before the V.
Mm-hmm.
But these are the twin pillars either side, and they're in union at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And cosmic light enters this and floods the cup with truth. See, this here, if we go beginning 200, then you get to 6, then you get to 7, then you get to 8, then you get to 1,000. And these are the steps in evolution of consciousness. And the alphabet is the alphabet to be ether in the physical. And that's the BET, that's the bet. And the word vowel is your vow to L, EL.
Your vow to balancing the red and the blue.
And that's the ladder.
When we speak about balance, just a quick one back to the sheet. If you add the 5 and the 1 together, it becomes a 6. And this is the masculine and feminine energies coming together to create that balance and that spark and that die. And just a quick note on chastity as well. People speak of it with regards to marriage. Now, this in Babylon might be a marriage of the masculine and feminine in the physical. However, in the spiritual, we talk of the masculine and feminine energies. And this is the true marriage of what we need to do. We need to unite these energies. And this is where our energies will flow. And this is where our lights will shine, because this is the true nature of marriage. This is not something where we put a ring on our finger and get a piece of paper and we're another corporation joined together in holy matrimony. This is the true marriage of what the Bible speaks of. And this is where we need to head to, is merging these two energies together and really finding our way through this matrix maze.
To shine the light, be right, you must be right.
Be in your right brain, not your left brain.
Exactly.
But then it is also like when we say we need to pull it back to the right side to become balanced, because
constant pulls with the left.
When you go back and forward, it's like you can be overly kind and then not think of yourself, and then you get pulled back to the left side and be selfish, and then get pulled back to the right and then do too much for someone and feel like you've lost all your energy. So it's really about being balanced. So it's like coming towards the right side to balance that left side, and then staying in that neutral path and
without judgment,
that neutral position.
For those people pleasers out there, the ones that put in an over exertion to be a host, or they want to express themselves, this is
there's positive polarity and there's negative polarity. The idea is you're supposed to be a balanced polarity.
And how you would identify that is if you've come back from serving people from your
tired,
and you say, gosh, they didn't appreciate any of this, and I'm not happy. Now you've created a demon inside your mind because you weren't actually living the truth. You were actually being a host because you wanted them to like you through your egoic mindset. Now, to be able to observe that is one thing, and then to apply that is the chastity. To hear the mind say that I got to do this, and then to abstain from it. And then once you've abstained from it, you bring yourself into balance where you can just take action free from the mind and just be present and serve people with your love.
This
it's
comes
very
back
important to speak your truth.
Yeah,
like
exactly what I was going to say.
The other day, talking your truth is really the main factor in this, because if you do be, the fake side of things, if you do put on an act, there's only so long that you can hold it up. and the world will come crashing down again. So we want to avoid those highs and lows, and we want to just keep that neutral state.
Beautiful, fantastic, really, really fantastic explanation this evening. Thank you so much. And obviously in the program, we go into more detail about how you can really apply chastity in each area of your life. And we break it down in your family, and we break it down in your home life, and we break it down in your health. So you really have a way of implementing this and integrating it into your lives. But I'm just conscious of time, and I really want to give you, because this is like a big day, obviously, because it's a summer solstice, but it's also a big day for both of you, because I know that today or this evening your website is finally going live. So I'd love to just give you a chance to talk about it.
Thank you. Leads forward, brother.
It looks absolutely brilliant. They've worked so hard on it, and it's just amazing, incredible. And it's gonna help so many beings to navigate their way through and elevate.
Thank you, Trevor, Abdul, and Alex, for your wonderful, kind love,
and Sister V,
as well,
and all the team that have helped us through this time. We've been working on it for quite a while, trying to get it like tip top, but we're finally here, and it is an ongoing progression for us as well. So we're going to be adding to it as much as we can, as often as we can, and it's very interactive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got great function. You could say it was a Gumtree, Facebook,
everything in one,
Instagram, everything
linked.
Rolled into one.
Yeah, it's
and
really
we've got amazing space for these land pools for community to find union. We have even sections where people can find rooms to rent if one's looking to go abroad. Someone in the family may have a spare room, and they can go and experience what it's like in those lands. We've got friends, just as these Facebook's medias do, where you can find relationships, even find your future partner. You never know. We've got amazing courses for healing, fasting. We've got food challenges,
questions and answers.
And it's XFAM Unity, isn't it? I'm just trying to put the link in for people.
XFAMUnity.com.
Unity.com. Okay.
We love your support, and we will continue to expand and create these fruit forests and communities. And we get a lot of offers for community and across the world, so we're able to put people in touch in areas where there's already land. Like right now we have a 200-hectare plot in Costa Rica that there's about 90 people on our Patreon right now that have a Telegram space where we've created so they can communicate. And in Portugal, we have about 90 people as well looking for a space and a place to grow and to create this community out there. So,
and how does it work? So people, they become a kind of Patreon to it, don't they? And they get access to all these, because it sounds so incredibly comprehensive what you put together.
Yeah, so you would just sign up, and I think what we're going to do is over the next day or two, we're going to create a walkthrough so people can see what the website has to offer before they join, so they can see what's available to them. And then as they join, there'll be a true walkthrough demonstrating how to access everything by our beautiful brother and creator, Trevor, who's helped us so much with this creation.
I think it's being worked on at the moment, but I'm going to put it in the chat for people so they can go and have a look. But just bear, because I think he might be still doing a little bit of work on it.
Okay. Every month we will be basically outrolling new courses for people to just action and apply with great simple wisdoms that will show people how to walk the straight narrow path. Previously, we've got courses on posture, because we've had a lot of people benefit hugely on the posture courses, just to create your body, put them back into normal function, to align the spine, to be able to create a fully functioning system.
Where if you can balance from the outside, then we can take it to the inside as well. So
fitness, training, bodybuilding,
food.
All of these types of things, the food. And as we said, if one's looking to heal themselves with a family, with abundance of recipe, we're going to be doing
childcare, pet care,
live food.
How long have you been working on this? Sounds like it's a real amazing piece of work.
We have on a day-to-day basis, we help people from across the world heal many diseases, from as young as 8 months to as old as 95, 100. So our time is limited, and at the same time we are raising our beautiful little X to be something significant and living and doing and practicing the work ourselves. So we have to find time, and also as we've been traveling around the Europe to look for land, we've decided against where we were, and we are now traveling towards India after a stop in the UK. So we've been doing it since about November. But again, we have lots of information and lots of things that we are putting together to put on the website. But it's definitely fully interactive and has enough stuff on there for people to get their self tied into. But we really want everybody to find community and union and each other. And
of course, this is what it's all about, all of us coming together. We can't make this change alone. It has to be about us. And it just sounds incredible. It sounds wonderful. So I think bear with it, guys, if you can't get in straight away, but write down the address, xfamunity.com, and over the kind of this evening and tomorrow, I'm sure it will be there and you will be able to sign up. But no, I congratulate you and acknowledge you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was going to say, we want to create some sort of X-family, like hemp or cotton organic t-shirts with our wonderful etymology on it, so we can start to spread that subconsciously through the world.
Send the agents the words so that they start responding to those triggers rather than the ones from
allow people to see the subtle nature of language.
Well, I think it's really excited, and thank you both for everything you do. And it's just incredible that it's almost like a portal of your gnosis and your knowledge. So I know that people are going to find it so incredibly valuable.
Thank you.
No, not at all. So guys, we are going to be back in 2 weeks' time with our final virtue of humility. And I can't believe that I saw humility on the wallpaper of our hotel, as it was just, I was walking past. How funny is that? What a beautiful synchronicity. Just saw it on the wall and I was like, look at that. I love it when the universe does that.
Yeah.
Giving you little signs.
Little signs and signals. So that will be our final virtue in 2 weeks' time. And then the program goes live on the 19th of July. So the price will go up on the 19th of July. So if anyone wants to join us, you are more than welcome to. I suggest you do so before the 19th of July. And yeah, thank you both so much. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Always an absolute pleasure.
We love you, sister.
Thank you
love
so
you
much
all.
for the space.
Happy solstice, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Happy solstice. We love you all.
We're just so grateful for everything, because it is going in the right direction, and everything that we get from this is going to be to create these wonderful spaces for everybody to evolve.
So much gratitude in our hearts for you all.
Love you.
Love you.
And just a little shout out, like, I hope this is okay, but I keep getting it, so I feel like we should say, I know you guys are looking for somewhere, aren't you, to rent almost for like 3 months, like a house, before you disappear to India. So if anyone out there knows somebody looking to rent a place short term, then just get in touch, because that could.
Thank you, Eloise. Yes, it's difficult in the UK because it's you've got
tin of sardines.
Everyone wants to have 12 months rental, and we just wanted just a few months so that we could settle a little bit with little X and stuff, but we're happy in the van, but it'd be nice to have a base whilst we're here that we can still travel from, but use for things like the chats and
creating content,
the lot ongoing content we're doing with the website. So
well, let's put it out there and manifest it. So if anybody knows anyone who can help, please get in touch. We would really appreciate it. So until next time, guys, we're loving you and leaving you. We're saying goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Take care. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful 14 days until next time. Keep practicing the virtue.